Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. So today I have a very cool car parked on the driveway. I'm going to get to drive my first Aston. This is an Aston Martin V12 Vantage S Roadster. It's mine for the day, and I thought you might like to take a look at it. So we're going to do a full review of this inside and out, so let's get going. The V12 Vantage S is a classic two-seat rear-wheel drive roadster and is the smallest car in the Aston Martin range. But when fitted with the huge 6-litre V12, it can reach 60 miles an hour in 3.9 seconds and tops out at a staggering 201 miles an hour. Huge stopping power comes from the standard fit carbon ceramic brakes. This car has a stunning spec, with carbon fibre diffuser, front splitter and radiator surround, and the carbon bonnet louvres telling the tale that a V12 lurks beneath. The 5.9 litre V12 produces 565 bhp and 457 pounds-feet of torque, and is coupled to a 7-speed Sport Shift 3 gearbox. Now then, the thing you might not know about Aston Martin, I think everybody knows that the Aston Martin logo is a pair of wings, but no Aston Martin can wear those wings until it's passed final inspection. So the very first badge that gets put on any Aston Martin is actually this one. So you lift the bonnet of any Aston Martin, you'll see the final inspection badge. So this was finally inspected by Mick Freeman. So once it's passed that, it's a 33-point check to get this badge. Once it's got that badge, it's allowed to wear the wings, including the famous one on the bonnet. Now, and these are quite interesting as well. So these are made in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham. And the interesting stat is that these are handmade. In the time it makes Aston Martin to make one of these badges, 3 Ford Focuses have rolled off the production line. I just think that's fantastic. The interior is a work of art. The piano black centre console has been reworked to make a cleaner layout. A very special place to be. The carbon-backed sports seats provide excellent comfort and support. The lined soft-top drops at the touch of a button and at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour, allowing you to enjoy the glorious soundtrack from the stunning V12, one of motoring's great pleasures. The Vantage Roadster looks stunning, hood up or hood down. Okay, as usual, while I have this car, I shall be performing a number of very important tests. And just like I did with the F-Type SVR, I've got to start with the does this car look good in my garage test? I'm afraid it does, and I think it probably looks even better than the F-Type. This goes very well. I need to start saving even more pennies because the V12 Vantage S starts at £147,000 on the road, and I guess that's before you start ticking any of the options, and they have some fantastic things that you can do. You can kind of tailor and bespoke the car to your own taste and work with Aston Martin to do that. So yeah, and this car's very nicely spec'd. There's a huge amount of carbon fibre on this car, the bonnet louvres, all the front splitter, the rear diffuser. Very nice. I think we need to get it out on the road, see what it can do. Okay, so here we have the emotional control unit, and to start this car you basically put that into this slot, push it, and man, you just gotta love this. We might just have to start it in the barn because I think it's going to sound pretty good in here. Oh yeah. That is the sound of the gods. Now we need to take it out for a drive. I think it's that way. So here we are, guys, in an Aston Martin V12 Vantage S Roadster, and I am pinching myself to believe this is happening today. I had to go with the roof down. I don't know whether you're going to be able to hear me okay. I'm just fingers crossed that you will. So now there's a number of things I want to do in this test. I guess the first thing is take you on the journey of driving such a beautiful, beautiful car. But I also want to try and pitch this car against some of the other cars I've driven this year. This is a very, very high performance car. For me, it's the, you know, probably my favourite Aston, I think. I love the Vantage anyway, and then when they decided to drop a V12 in it, you just think, well, this has got to be the perfect combination. So let's kind of talk through a few things about this car. So, a couple of things about this test drive. Firstly, the road's still quite greasy today, so I am massively wary about this car. You know, it's got 565 horsepower all through the rear wheels, although it's got some beautiful you know, stability controls and all that kind of stuff. I'm still going to have to be very, very careful. So the first thing I'm going to do with this car is put it into sport mode. So there's a button on the dashboard and the note of the engine changes straight away, and even without changing my position on the throttle, I get more pull and more kind of go, and it just sounds mega. Oh my goodness me, the difference in this car between driving in normal mode and in sport mode is like night and day. And I have to say, I can't understand why you wouldn't just drive it in sport mode all the time. It just sounds amazing. So that's number one. Let's just drive it in sport mode for the whole day. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. The next thing is, this car is fitted with the Sport Shift 3 gearbox. It's a flappy paddle manual gearbox, basically. Although it does have a drive option, you can just press D on the dashboard and drive it in D. You really don't want to do that. It just doesn't drive well in that. And I have to kind of talk through this because I find this the most interesting thing about the car. Is in lots of, I kind of did my research before driving this car, and read some reviews and watched some videos and so on. And this gearbox gets a bit of a hard rap. And the interesting thing is, this year I've driven quite a few of the Porsche PDK equipped gearbox cars, and also the Audi S-Tronic, and those are double clutch, super smooth, and probably the best at what they do. Now, if you drive this car in the same way you would drive a car with a PDK or S-Tronic, you're going to be disappointed, because that's not how to drive this car, this gearbox. The way to do it is, first you stick it in manual and you drive it on the paddles. You've got to drive this car on the paddles. Don't drive it in D, it's very jerky when it changes gear. But the trick is, on the downshifts, you can... Downshifts are great. It's the upshift, you've got to imagine that you are changing gear. I like that, another Aston's just gone the other way. Very nice early Vanquish. You have to imagine you're driving a manual car. So just as you would do in a manual car, when you dip the clutch to change gear, you probably just lift off the throttle a little bit. If you do that in this car, so as you engage the higher gear, so you pull on the upshift, if you just lift the throttle, and it's not a huge amount, just almost like just take the pressure off it, the car changes gear beautifully smoothly, and you carry on, and it's a really smooth shift. And what I love about that is you feel engaged with the car. You know, some of these more modern gearboxes, you kind of, they're just so perfect. You just put your foot flat on the ground and you accelerate, you know, bang, bang, bang up the gearbox, and they're great, but I like this because it kind of makes you feel part of the car. There's only one thing for it, guys. Petrol ped hill climb time. quite greasy, so I'm just going to take it careful, but the noise bouncing off the trees. Oh, just sticks in. Sadly, beaten on the Petrol hill climb by a Rover 45. Tragic, but we've climbed up into the clouds. Oh! Woo! Tell you what, this thing likes the rear tyres up quite easily, actually. Oh yes. So right now, I just want to buy the guy a drink. The guy at Aston Martin, who apparently said when they brought out the V8 Vantage, he just looked at it and went, I can get a V12 in that. And they went, don't be ridiculous, you can't. He went, yeah, I can. So anyway, he just kept going on about it, and apparently they gave him a V12, and he shoehorned it in. I don't know how, because if you look under the bonnet, how on earth they get a 6-litre V12 in a car of this size, I've got no idea. But hats off to you, mate. It's created an absolute monster. The noise of this thing, to drive a naturally aspirated V12 2-seat Roadster, just a dream come true. And the sad reflection of the times, you know, I can't see there being many more of these out. You know, the sort of V12 naturally aspirated engine is sadly a dying breed. We're going down the smaller V6s, turbocharged hybrid type cars, but this is only my second V12. If you've seen my Rolls-Royce Wraith video, I mentioned about that being the first V12 I'd driven, but that was just so refined and so quiet, it kind of wasn't disappointing, but this thing, my goodness me, the noise it makes me, just into fourth, down into third, down into second, and just a bit squirmy then. It's just got so much go. While I'm out here driving, I just need to take a moment to say a massive thank you to the guys at Aston Martin Chichester, James in particular, for kind of offering me the opportunity to have this car for the day. I'm just so grateful and so appreciative for your support, and then Drew for looking after me this morning, handing the car over and making sure everything was okay. They valeted it beautifully and really looked after me, so thank you very much. And I'm really hoping that this isn't the last Aston Martin on Petrol Ped. We're kind of having a bit of a chat about getting something very special in the new year. I guess all I need to say is they're quite busy with it at the moment as a demonstrator, because it's not been around very long, and it has a V12 engine. That's all I'm going to say, but hopefully early in the new year we'll get my hands on another Aston Martin. But thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate the support that you're giving my channel in allowing me to have access to such beautiful cars. So it's probably worth just talking about trying to compare this with a couple of the other cars I've driven this year of the same kind of power. So as I said, this is 565 horsepower. So the F-Type SVR and the 911 Turbo S and the R8 V10 Plus, they're all this kind of super 550 brake plus horsepower. But all three of those have four-wheel drive, and this doesn't. This is just rear-wheel drive. Yes, it's got some great traction control, but man, do you have to be on your game with this car. It's quite intimidating. Obviously, it's not my car, and I have to give it back in one piece. But you really do have to
kind of think about what you're doing, think about when you're going to apply some throttle, because this car bite your arse if you're not careful. I quite like that, but it's a man's car. It's really, the kind of four-wheel drive, and I know I keep going about how much I love four-wheel drive, but I do like that because you can because it gives you that kind of safety. You can put the power down. You're not going to have to kind of worry about the back end getting loose. In this, you do. I'm certainly not going to take it to the point where I start doing that on a public road, in a car that's not mine, on a greasy road surface. But I do get the feeling that when that happens, I would imagine it's quite kind of manageable to a point. But you've got to be careful with this car. You put your foot down too hard in the wrong place and you're going to end up going to the scene of the nearest accident. Here we go, bit of open road. It just does have such a lovely feeling. That noise of that engine's just ace. Oh yes. Whoa, this is a rocket ship, this thing. It just surges power, my goodness me. It just builds speed so quickly. Down into fourth. Oh, look at that, and then on the power. Oh yes. This is the kind of road where it just starts to make a bit of sense. Let's come into the trees, it's a bit more damp, just be a bit more careful of the traction. What a noise. Oh, those brakes are really good. Really very good. Oh. Yeah, this is a quick car. Very, very quick. So you get this sport shift gearbox, you get the hang of it, it's fantastic. I honestly don't know where people, I mean, you just can't compare it to PDK and S-Tronic. They are different things. You just feel so engaged when you get a shift right. It just makes you feel like you're really kind of at one with the car. Love it. Oh, straight bit of road, 0 to 60, gently. Here we go. Wow, this thing squirms, man. Whew. That was only 3/4 throttle. I'm not brave enough to really nail it, but man, does this thing get off the line quickly. Sounds great too. So guys, my final impressions of this car are going to be very long lasting, basically. This thing's absolutely spectacular. The more I've got to drive it today, the more confident I've got in the car. It's very intimidating, it's massively powerful, you have to be on it. But when you feel that confidence, it's a hugely rewarding car to drive. Through the bends, beautiful feel, beautiful weighted steering, carbon ceramic brakes are very, very good. The power delivery is beautiful, but the highlight for me has got to be that V12. You know, to drive a naturally aspirated V12 is very, very special. And this sport shift gearbox, I love it actually. I like it, it connects me to the car. It just sounds brilliant as well. So all in all, a very, very, very special car. Out of all the cars I've driven so far this year, for me it's the one that's made me feel so special. It's fantastic. So anyway, I've got the car for the rest of the day, so I'm going to continue driving round, roof down. I've actually got a Vanquish in front of me, which is quite cool. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come, and hopefully more cars just like this one. But I'll leave you with the spectacular sound of this thing. Oh, why couldn't you just love that? Absolutely lovely. So, you take care, guys. Drive safe.